Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I've been thinking a lot recently about just documenting life and everything that goes on with it. There's always this confliction of like how much to show online, how much to polish it, and how much to kind of have a raw look on everything. So I'm in a moment where I just want to document stuff. Even as a photographer, that's something that I probably don't do enough of. I take photos professionally, but then in my spare time, my free time, I don't have, or at least I haven't had so much of a desire to get my camera out and document the day-to-day life things. So let's start with a little catch up on the professional side of things. We're now living in Manchester, so it's a whole different client base for me. If you followed any of my social media, you'll know that we went travelling in 2021 to 2022, then stayed up in Scotland for 6 months. It was great to catch up with family and live in Inverness again for a little bit, and then rather than move back to London, we moved to Manchester. Initially, when we got back from travelling, work started a little bit slow, but thankfully over the last couple of months it's really picked up. I think just being back in the UK and potential clients knowing that I am here has really helped a lot. And yeah, the last couple of months especially have been super busy. I've been really fortunate. In the last month alone, I've shot a global campaign for a sportswear company, and I've been working in Dusseldorf, Cannes and New York. But on that note, maybe you guys can relate to this, or maybe it's just a little insight. The whole travelling thing has kind of run me down a little bit. You probably see like the remains of a cold sore there, and I'm a bit stuffy in the head. And the hay fever in Dusseldorf was absolutely insane. It was proper hay fever. I was getting fevers and shivers, and it's a beautiful green city, but I've never had hay fever that bad. So I think it's all kind of caught up with me, and I'm just about getting over it. This week's been very chilled. Yesterday I was scrolling on Instagram and I was seeing all these other photographers that I follow doing the fantastic work that they all do, and despite being super busy the last 5-6 weeks, I was still getting these pangs of what initially I would call or have labelled imposter syndrome, but it's actually probably simplerly put as a jealousy almost. And it's just really interesting to feel jealous despite being busy. And that's something that I think I'm going to try and be aware of more in the future. Obviously, like we've all heard this discussion on social media and jealousy and imposter syndrome, and everyone's busy and you're not, and everyone's doing great work and you're not, and blah blah blah. But even it was really a new thing for me to be like, despite being super busy, still having those feelings. So that was interesting. Take of that what you will. Bit of a raw chat to start the vlog there. If you are new here, by the way, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Richard Maciver. I am a professional photographer. I have been freelance since 2012, and on this channel I usually share behind the scenes videos and hopefully more raw chats like that. So if that's something you're into, hit the like, subscribe button. As for the rest of today, I have some editing to do. I've got some retouching to do, and yeah, it's a pretty good moment to be retouching because we've got the European Championships on, so I can have that on my second screen and be watching that. And we also have the Tour de France on, which is such great passive viewing for when you're retouching. I don't know if anyone else is into road cycling or if you're watching the Tour de France, but let me know in the comments if you are. Yesterday Pogacar opened up like a 1.5-minute lead on Vingegaard, am I saying that right? And yeah, I hope he just doesn't run away with it for the rest of the tour. I hope they kind of close that gap on him, but we will see. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you're into it, if you're watching it, let's get to retouching. Okay, so before we get to editing, let me give you a little tour of my current work setup, because I badly need to tidy this and revamp this, and I would love your input in the comments. Please do let me know. It can be, my setup can be quite good. I'm quite pleased with it. It's not like a mega fancy big studio and stuff. We're fortunate enough to have a 2-bed here, so when people come to stay, we have a second bed. Hopefully you guys can see that there. I'm recording this on my phone. But let me show you my desk. This is currently my desk setup, and honestly, I couldn't be showing you it at a worse time. I've just unpacked from all the traveling and stuff, so we have like receipts. I was doing my invoices yesterday. We've got piles of receipts here and a lens and like disposable camera and stuff. So normally, honestly, please believe me, there's none of this crap here, but this is all batteries and chargers and stuff. Normally it's just keyboard, mouse, and this. I have a video on this laptop and screen arm, by the way. This was only £40 and it's fantastic. You can move everything around, you can move the screen can actually rotate as well. Because all this crap's here, I'm not going to show you, but believe me, it does. You can see it's on the piss a little bit there. So yeah, this is my current setup. I recently went to Malaga on a BMX trip, which was very sick, and shot this on some black and white film, so loving that. I've got a whole series on that. It's on my Instagram. I'll put it here. Go check that out if we don't follow each other on Instagram already. Yeah, so that's it, pretty basic. We have my boxing wraps here. I've been doing boxing a bit more recently. Maybe I'll touch on that in a future video. In the other corner, I've recently got a new tripod, which is fantastic. I can't believe I'm this excited about a new tripod. We've got the lights, which we use for Helen's videos. I've got my underwater housing. Look at that, just sitting on the floor. That is not cool, man. I need to get a Pelly case for that. So in my defense, I have been traveling a lot recently and stuff has just been chucked in and out, but we're getting there. So I'm thinking of putting shelves in this corner here, like maybe a big stack of shelves, cameras, charging station, all that stuff, so I can grab and go. Until now, I just have 2 bags that I keep all my kit in, and one's a rucksack, one's a roller bag, and I just put kit from one to the other depending on, you know, what the job calls for. What has just sprung to mind, speaking about the bags, is I have this week hired out my 2 Profoto B10 heads on Fat Llama. I'm not shooting this week, and on Sunday I got an inquiry to rent them out. £325 for the week, which is amazing. How good is that? Fat Llama take their cut, which is quite chunky, but I'll still end up with about 260 quid. And it's not always, you know, the big fancy lights that I rent out. Sometimes it's simple things like these LED panels. I mean, I bought these for 100 quid, or Helen bought these for 100 quid for filming her yoga videos. And we rent these out at like 20 quid a time. So, you know, that totally makes sense. And we've rented them out 2 or 3 times since we've been in Manchester, and obviously I rent out the underwater housing. It's quite a niche thing, but also I've rented out just my Canon R6 with the 2 lenses. That goes out for 150 quid a day. So if you're a photographer, or even if you're not a photographer, if you're in any sort of speciality, these Rode mics, you know, I know there's a lot of yoga teachers and stuff that watch this channel from my how to film at home workout videos. If you've got any sort of electrical kit, put it on Fat Llama. I know there's the insurance thing, but they've been really good and I've read great things. And, you know, always check out who's renting and just check with Fat Llama. Email Fat Llama before you send them out, like I did with my Profotos. I emailed them and been like, I know this guy has 14 reviews, but I just want to check like everything's okay and all his ID is verified and blah, blah, blah. And they got back to me and they were great. Rent out your stuff, make some extra money, like talk about passive income. I love it. And I keep renting stuff out. So bit of a tangent there. Normally I keep my kit between the 2 bags. I've got one rucksack down there and I have the other bag is out on hire with the Profoto B10 heads. Yeah, let me know any desk suggestions. Maybe I need a little plant here. Maybe, you know, I need a big stack of shelves. I don't want to just get generic IKEA stuff. I want to add a bit of character to it and maybe some wall prints. There's an art gallery along the road that sells like Billy Connolly stuff, and obviously being Scottish and Billy Connolly is a national treasure, I gotta get my hands on some of that someday. Let me know. Let's get retouching. No, the jalapenos aren't normally spicy. I am dying. Alright, so you join me as I'm making dinner. Helen has popped out to her pole dancing class, and I have got pretty much all the retouching that I needed to do today. Some of it I couldn't show on camera, and then just at the end of the day I was retouching a test shoot that I shot quite a while back now, which has just been taking way too long to retouch. And basically that was because the day was a little bit of a disaster. I'm having to make a little bit of an improvised dinner because we haven't got much in just now. So we're going to do a gusto shop today or tomorrow, which I will leave a code with. I will leave a code in the description because you get like a massive discount, and Gusto sends you all the ingredients and menus, and it's really good if you are not much of a chef. But the day was a disaster. Unfortunately, the makeup artist couldn't make it because her car broke down on the way, and then we tried to get a stand-in makeup artist who did eventually get there but didn't have the right kit with her. Finally today I can kind of sign off that project. It's unfortunate that it turned out that way, but sometimes test shoots turn out like that. Sometimes you just don't get anything from it, and that's why you test. It's the whole point of a test. Trial and error, see what comes out of it. You might get one image, you might get 10 great images. You know, we got some nice stuff, but not portfolio worthy. So I am making a tofu rice vegetable mashup. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video, everyone. I would love to do a little bit more. You know, vlogging, making videos like this seems much easier to do rather than to try and make a sort of polished things, although I do enjoy making those sort of videos as well, and I do try and record as much behind the scenes as possible as well. Speaking of behind the scenes, I did shoot a recent test shoot in New York. I was over there for another job, extended my stay, and shot something on the day of my flight in the morning, 7 AM till about 10:30 AM, around, where were we? Soho and Wall Street, and I think we got some great things, got some great images, so I'll share a little bit of that. I haven't retouched that yet. I think we got some awesome stuff, right up my street, very much my style, and you know, thrown together pretty much last minute. Went to the local Nike store, bought a bunch of stuff for the models, bought an outfit each for the models that I think fitted the mood board, and yeah, we got some great stuff. That's what I'm doing tomorrow, I'm retouching that. But as for today, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.